Breaking news, Columbia Green Federal Credit Union just saved our member $105 a month on their car payment.
That's no surprise. CGFCU helps our members save thousands.
Wait, thousands?
Yep, we have fantastic rates and flexible terms.
We save our members by refinancing autos, boats, campers, and even credit cards.
Apply today, see how much you can save.
All right, welcome back to the Press Box, presented by Columbia Green Federal Credit Union. It's obviously football season. We have legendary Takana Kills coach Mike Bowman coming back with us. Thanks for coming.
Glad to be here, as always.
Yeah, it's always a treat to have Coach here. Well, here we are. It's mid-August. And to me, two things always come to mind in mid-August. Of course, the anniversary of the Woodstock Music and Arts Festival down in Bethel, New York from 1969. Right. But a close second would be the start of high school football season. And nobody knows more about that sport than this guy right here.
Well, I don't know about that.
Coach of the Year right here.
Yeah, I don't know about all of that, but thank you very much. But, August 13th... That's when it all started for all the teams in the area and for across the state. Mm-hmm. And preseason practices have started. They have to go through 3 days of conditioning. Right. And then after that, they can put the pads on and hit the sleds. And then after the seventh day, they can actually hit themselves and hit people. Mm-hmm. And then a certain amount of practices before they can have a scrimmage. And then a certain amount of practices after that the next week, and they can play their first game.
See what I'm talking about here, Brian? He's still got it down.
It's amazing that, and I looked at the schedule because I run the pool and the fitness center at our school, and I have so many kids that are playing sports that are my lifeguards and that are my receptionists and stuff like that. And so I go to Delana Bonsi, who is a top field hockey player, is one of my lifeguards. Right. And I go, Delana, give me the schedule, will you, so I can, so I can put the schedule down for you guys. Mm-hmm. I look at the schedule. Their scrimmages are August 23rd, 24th. They have 3 games before school even starts.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that was unheard of. I mean, even 10 years ago. Yep. I mean, football. First game is before school even starts. Mm-hmm. People are still on vacation for Labor Day, coming back. We've already played. Yeah. I mean, it's just like unbelievable, and it's mainly because of the regional and the state and all the different playoff games that they have to go through to get to that point in November to be able to have a championship team.
Okay. Now, you last coached for Takana Kills 2016.
Yep.
So this is your second year out. What do you miss most about the game and coaching?
Oh, geez. I mean, there's a lot of different things. I mean, obviously, missing the kids. Right. I mean, is number one. It's really hard to put your finger on, one specific thing that I do miss because, once you're in it, there's a whole bunch of scenario that fits into, what you have to do. Right. As far as all the other coaches, I miss them, the camaraderie that we've had, and things like that. I miss some of my assistant coaches that I used to have, and I'm glad that Mark Anderson was able to take over for me because we've been friends for a long time. Right. Matter of fact, he was my first modified coach when we had a modified team. I can't remember exactly when that was.
Now, did you coach
10, 12 years
ago?
I was coaching the JV team when Mark was a senior. Okay. So he was he was on the team. Yeah, I just missed, but I knew of him. I mean, I think he. Yeah, when I first started Takana Kills, I wanted to put in the program, and I wanted to start with the JV. Yes. And well, no offense to the varsity that year, but you asked Mark and Dave Sider, who was one of the big stars in the JV. We used to scrimmage them, and just they had no idea where the ball was or what was going on. We put it to them pretty good.
It's a different
time. So I just missed him, but we've been friends for a long, long time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, as a former coach, but once a coach, always a coach, do you ever find yourself at a game, whether it's high school or watching a pro or college game on TV, feeling, okay, I would do
Why would you do that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do you ever find yourself doing that?
Oh, God, I kill myself all the time. I said, oh, my Lord, even in baseball, I just say to myself, gosh, why did you do that? For what reason, you know? But all the time, you know, but... you know, I don't stand up in the crowd if I'm watching a game and say something like that. It's kind of like I try to keep that to myself as much as possible.
Right.
I'm going to say, oh, my goodness, you know.
It's got to be hard, though.
But I never said I would have never done that. You know, I mean, I don't ever say that type of thing. You know, that's totally disrespectful, and not to be able to do that.
No, I know you've been great about that.
You know,
since you've been away. I mean, just trying to help out the coaches, but letting them do their thing and staying back and not trying to be.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you know, so it's all good. It's
definitely a sign of respect.
But we were talking earlier about you know, the numbers not being there for people and kids going out for football, and we were trying to think of declining enrollment. You know, that's a little bit of it. You know. Where there's a lot of people moving into the area from the city that have already had kids that aren't having them anymore, and so you know you have that, you know, and the population, at least in our school, has gone down. I think Hudson has too, actually, and so you have that. Then you have the concussion syndrome thing, where the parents were totally not letting their kids play because of all the bad press, and you know, there's obviously something to that fact, you know, that can cause, you know, severe conditions later on in life, so they don't want their little kids playing it.
Sure. So a lot of contributing factors as to why the numbers are down.
A lot of contributing factors, along with kids, like we said before, specializing in one sport. A lot of the kids that are playing baseball, you know, continue and they play fall baseball. I mean, they play right up until almost the snow flies, and you can't play, you know, when football's over. Basketball goes all summer into the fall, you know, and then, you know, so kids are specializing in the one sport, like we talked about before. The three-sport athlete just isn't there anymore. I mean, very rarely do you find somebody now playing football, basketball, baseball, or whatever. And, you know, it's just, there are exceptions, of course, but for the most part, those days are gone, you know. Those days are gone.
And it's sad. I remember that. So many players, you know, have come great athletes that were very, very good in all three sports. And
Jimmy Shook, right?
We talked about him before we started this program. And
he comes
can you
to
imagine trying to tell Jimmy Shook, you're only playing one sport, you ain't playing all three?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God.
He would be. And another one that I remember, too, that I had the pleasure of coaching was Dana Bessette.
Yes.
He was, him and Jimmy were the only ones that I know of that I can remember, at least in my day there, that were all conference football, basketball, and baseball, and all
Tremendous
three sports.
athletes.
You know, and I'm probably missing somebody. Sorry if I am, but but those two stand out to be really great. You know,
we talk about relationships too. The fact that so many former players and former student athletes have kept in touch with you, and you've kept in touch with them. I mean, and you feel that's very important too as a coach.
Oh, it is, yeah. I mean, you know, again, we touched base in our talks we've had before about the '88 team and how close they were together, and you know, when you look for a successful program as to why in '88 did it happen after 15 years of not even having a winning season,
Just
and all of a sudden you're 11-0 and win the state championship. I says, how is that possible? You know, and so
I ask that myself all the time.
Yeah, well, it takes a lot of things to fall into place, and one of the big things is to fall into place are the kids. Meshing well together. You know, that when you have a team, and it's a lot of people on a team, you have to mesh all these different personalities. And sometimes, you know, there's always one or two kids that are sogheads over here, and they don't comply with what's going on here. But that '88 team, everybody bought into everything that the coaches wanted them to do. You know, we promoted this. You know, it's our turn. I mean, you know, I remember sending the letters out. It's our turn. I said, you know, 15 years is way too much. We can't. And in '87, we were almost there.
Right.
We were 4-4. We couldn't play the last game because of that freak snowstorm we had, and they canceled school for a whole week.
Yeah.
So we never got a chance to play that last game to possibly be 5-4. Which I think, of course, we could have won, but so we saved it for the last year. But I mean, everybody bought into it. They were very close. I mean, nobody was. Of course, we would. The kids would sometimes have differences on the field, and we would settle that on the field.
Right.
Whereby now some of the rules you can't really do that anymore. It's like
different
you can't do that now. It's like you got to train them with like kid gloves. But they were rough. They were a rough bunch of guys. They'd hit you. And and then they'd help you up too.
Yeah.
So
good sports.
Yeah, it was a great group, and they still keep in touch with each other. I still talk to them and see them often. And it's hard for you to believe. It's hard to believe. 30 years.
30 years.
This
30
football
years.
season.
Can you believe that?
30. Oh no, I can't.
I cannot believe that. I remember it was yesterday.
I can't believe that Tom Saunders is 45 something.
Oh man, I'm sure he's
or 46. I don't know. I mean, geez, I can't believe it.
Yeah, but he still looks 25.
Yeah,
right?
That's it. Yeah. Well, he still acts it too.
Yeah.
No offense, Tom.
Speaking of guys meshing well and everything, this year we have Carey O'Connell and Catskill forming a team. One of these schools hasn't played football at all. How hard is that for your new coach to come in and get these guys all on the same page?
Yeah, wow, and that's a whole different page too. I mean, those Catskill City School, Carroll Country School, a whole different type of clientele that goes to Catskill, a whole different clientele that goes to Carroll. That's going to be a hard mesh to do, but. Again, I mean, football is football, and that's what they have to. I'm sure that the new coach there has told them, "Listen, we're all in this together." Football is football. You tackle each other, you help each other up. I says, you're all friends, no matter where you're from or what make you are or anything else like this. I said, we all wear the same uniform, and this is it. So it's not like, well, I'm from Catskill, I'm better than you are. No. I'm from Carroll. I says, well, I can kick your butt. And. You don't have that type of thing, You want to have a mesh type of thing,
absolutely.
And it's got some problems that that you're definitely going to have to contend with the diversification from the two cities.
Things that definitely can be ironed out though over time. You once these because a lot of these kids nowadays they might be in different school districts, but they know each other from whether playing sports, other sports, exactly,
friends,
social media.
Yeah.
So everybody knows everybody, and it's kind of a treat to play with the guys.
That's right. But I mean, anytime the two teams merge, it's because. The programs are dwindling.
Right.
And so if we merge together, we can build a program.
Right.
But in 3 years, Catskill is going to have their team and Carroll Durham is going to have their team.
Hopefully.
Yes, exactly. Because that's why you merge.
Yeah.
You merge so you can build a program so that you can build up the strength to have people wanting to play, and now you have enough to be able to field your own team and enough to Catskill field their own team. Chatham did it with Berkshire. I remember. They didn't have 10 people on their team that wanted to play.
Yeah.
So they merged with Berkshire, and they had enough to play, and
it worked.
And it worked, and they held their own. And then all of a sudden, they didn't need Berkshire anymore, so they dissolved it. Okay, but I'm sure that down the line that. Catskill is going to want to have their own football team, per se Catskill. And the same thing that Carroll is going to want to have their own football team, Carroll. And then the nice thing is when they both play each other, they'll reminisce and shake hands and and hug each other and say, this is really cool. So
hopefully that's the plan.
I would think that is. Anytime teams merge, it's a win for both teams to try to keep the program alive, and that eventually they know that we're going to have our own team and separate further down the road.
Do you see a lot of schools down the line maybe doing this?
Even kind of kills.
Same thing. I mean, where with numbers being as small as they are at some smaller schools, especially, like a lot more of these merger type situations.
Well, not so much the merger things. I mean, like Takana Kills did it in wrestling with Hudson last year. Yeah, I mean, again, because numbers are down. They don't have enough to field a team, and they don't want to lose the program, so they get another team to help them out. But what's happening now in football? Have you heard this?
No.
There's
Lay
like
it on
6 teams in Dutchess County,
Yeah.
Pine Plains,
Yeah.
Dover Plains, Millbrook. I don't know about Millbrook. A couple of teams.
Smaller
8-man
schools.
football.
Oh man.
Bring back
They're
8-man.
playing 8-man
I don't know
football.
about this.
Yeah, they're bringing it back. I mean, they have 8-man football. In high school, there's like 10 schools down there that have 8-man football.
See, I'm all for keeping a program alive, but it just troubles me a little bit for the future of football in general down the line, because I mean, you know, it's almost like you have to relearn the game. You're playing 8-man
different
football in
rules.
high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're good enough, you go on to college, and obviously you're back in 11-man football. I know it might not be that much of a stretch, but as far
Pine
as
Plains and
differentiating-
Dover
Yeah.
are playing 8-man football against in a league.
Man.
In a league down there with 8 or 9 other teams that are playing 8-man football. So they found a solution as to the decreasing numbers. All right, well, we don't need that many if we play 8-man football. And then eventually, hopefully, if the numbers go back again, then we go back and play 11-man football.
What's your
instead
take
of,
on that? How do you,
instead
do
of
you,
well,
do you approve of that, or do you?
well, they must not have had anybody to merge with to make a football team.
Sure.
You know,
Which I find hard to believe, because
we were
maybe
actually-
it's some kind of, you know.
well, it was in the mix
and
and the talk about Pine Plains and us possibly
Right.
merging together for programs, mostly because Pine Plains was hurting for football numbers, you know. But it was tough because they are from a different section.
Yeah.
Right.
Section 1 as to Section 2. And it was different crossing the lines. So it never materialized. So, you know, so they could have merged with, I guess, Dover, and Pine Plains,
Yeah.
but that didn't work either. So,
So they're going to 8-man.
so they went to 8-man football. Yeah. So, and I'm sure that's just a stepgap until they can build a program up to get enough people out there to play 11-man again. It's almost like merging 2 teams together. You know,
And at least they're
going
playing.
down.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
keep
that's
the
right.
game
I
and
mean,
the sport
I've
going.
never seen it played.
Yeah,
But
I
back
haven't
in
either,
the
to tell you the truth.
day,
Big in
Rojan
the-
and Akawamic, they played 8-man football.
So what would you take be? So if you 8-man football
I don't
and
know.
8-man offense, what do you have? Like maybe 3 offensive linemen, a quarterback.
I think it's almost like almost everybody's eligible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
Center eligible. That'd be interesting.
Well, I think except for the center. I think there's a lot of people eligible, I think.
I'm trying to figure this. So
I don't know.
3 offensive linemen, a quarterback, maybe 2 wideouts, somebody in the slot, and a running back.
Yes.
Does that get us to 8?
I have never seen it. I don't know how it works, to be honest with you. I mean,
And then how do you defend something like that?
yeah, well, you have 8 men out there
Obviously
defending
you
it.
can. I mean, the 8-man
But-
football, they play it. Is there even
Yeah.
6-man football?
I think there used to be. I think there used to be
Yeah,
6-man
yeah.
football.
Yeah.
That's right. But I remember it wasn't until like 19, because I did the history on the Hall of Fame at our school.
Right.
And I think the first 11-man team was like 1962. So they played 8-man
been
all
a
through
while,
the
yeah.
50s, pretty much, you know.
How about that?
Yeah, 8-man. There wasn't, and then 11-man came in, but a lot of the teams, a lot of the schools, they all played 8-man football in the 40s and 50s.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you
it's
got to do
all
what you got to
8-man
do.
football.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, and if it's going to keep the sport going, hey.
well, yeah, I mean,
Go for
that's it, you know. So it's like in a nutshell, 8-man football, merging
Yeah.
teams together. It's all, you know, because of the crunch that we have now with kids not playing for one reason or another, you know. And then, of course, a lot of people say, well, they can't get off the couch and we get away from their video games.
It sounds like
they have to work because they need enough money to pay for their car insurance. I mean,
Which all valid points.
there's a myriad amount of things that
Right.
are pounding, you know, teenage kids these days, and playing football August 13th when it's 90 degrees out
Right,
for
yeah.
2.5 hours. I don't think I'm doing that. No.
Hey, you know what? That affects some of us old cats too to have to cover it. I mean, it's 90 degrees in August, and by the end of the year, it's like you're bundled up freezing.
Yeah,
So-
it's tough. I mean, you know,
it
it's
certainly
just
is.
you know, it takes a different type of kid to really go out there and give it all he's got to play football. I mean, more than any other sport, I believe. You know,
We got to keep the sport alive, though, Coach. We got to
You
do
know,
it.
that's right. Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. I mean, for sure. So
at Taconic Hills, you're still around there. You're still working at the pool and everything with the school driver's ed.
Yeah.
Who are some of
I
the
just
guys?
finished driver ed last Friday.
Oh, did you? That's what, 40-something years over there, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
No.
Well, I started before I came to Taconic
Right.
Hills, and then I
Yeah.
took a hiatus, went to Lake Placid, and then I
Right.
came back. But
So who are some of the guys at Taconic Hills that you're excited to watch play this year?
this year, well, I mean, one of my past people on our team was Shane Bradway. I mean,
Came up as an eighth grader.
Yeah.
eighth grader. Yep. Tough kid, big, strong kid.
Right.
He's our fullback, and look for big things coming out of him. We have another kid coming back, Corey, that's going to be playing quarterback.
Carey O'Connell?
Carey O'Connell, yes. He was a JV quarterback. He got hurt, and he's prone for injury. I hope he's going to be able to make it through. But he's a little magician back there with the ball. He's a good
Love
ball
that.
handler. He can throw the ball.
that
He can run
deception.
the offense really well. So they're not going to really miss too much on. Prusser was a good mainstay of the quarterback for a couple of years, but
Yes, he was.
I don't think they're going to at least be as good, if not better, with him there, because he's got a little bit better feet than Brandon had. Brandon could throw the ball better, but it's more of a running thing
Sure.
now in high school, unless you have a really tremendous passer like the Taylor kid from Chatham.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you better have good pass offense or pass defense
Right.
when you play that team.
No doubt
this year.
about it.
And we were talking earlier. I said, I'd still be coaching if it wasn't for if Kelly Taylor
dad.
had brought his son
Right.
to Taconic Hills
That's
and
right.
played
'cause
in our
Kelly played
district.
for you at Taconic Hills.
Oh
His
yeah,
dad.
Kelly was our tight end and our kicker.
Right.
And I got a quick story about that.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
Oh my God, we were playing Walton for the state championship,
remember.
right? And so we score, and I said, okay, well, extra point team, let's go. Go in and kick the extra point. Kelly misses it.
Well,
So we're winning 6-0.
Right.
And so then it's their ball, and let's see if I get the whole story straight.
And Walton ran that funky offense too.
Yeah,
Based on deception and all
they
that. I
did.
mean,
They
that
did.
was-
So
that was
anyway,
interesting
Walton
to
gets the
watch.
ball. They score. They kick the extra point. They had a tremendous kicker.
Yes.
So we're losing 7-6.
Right.
So we drive the ball down there, and it's fourth down, and we really got too much to go for a first down. I says, all right, Kelly, listen, I want you to go in there and amend for your extra point that you missed and kick a field goal for us, would you please? He never kicked a field goal before in his life, okay? I mean, so he goes in there, and we kick a 27-yard field goal. We go in at halftime, 9-7.
himself.
So, I mean, geez, how about that? That's a good story.
That's why you're the coach of the year in 1988.
Yeah, well, I had a lot of opportunities that just happened to work out pretty well, But anyway, Chatham, they should be a formidable foe, and they did lose some players, but I'll start my team with the Taylor kid anytime.
Yep.
But going back to Taconic Hills, we have Dusty Snyder back.
Right. Tough kid.
Yeah, really good running back. He's going to be a fine player.
Yep.
And then there's a handful of other people that can step up.
It's
to
a good
do a good
offensive
job. But
lineman and defensive lineman last year. I know played as freshmen and sophomores as well coming back. So
Eddie
should be
Smith and Josh
Hemmings.
They're good. Josh Hemmings, yes. I mean, nose guard. They're gonna develop and be better. So I mean. They should be okay. They should be okay.
Stamp of
when you
approval.
don't have a lot of people playing, I mean, the worst nemesis that you have is injury.
Right.
You can't really afford to have one of your stalwart players go down and miss time.
Right.
Because you just don't have the resiliency of just having okay, you just go in and play as a backup.
Right.
Now you got to shuffle everybody around.
Absolutely.
The running back becomes here, this guy goes here. It's like
and that's hard when you got small numbers.
Yeah, it is. But I think Mark's done a good job. They'll be fine. They'll be formidable. Foe to play against. I don't think they're going to get blown out. Really, not too many games, if
sure.
that at all. But
Excellent.
Hey, Coach, we could talk football pretty much all
Sure
day.
could.
Oh, I know.
Have to,
And then some.
we'll have to
I know.
have you come back during the season once we get things
Oh,
rolling.
gee, yeah.
See a
That's
couple
when we
guys
could
out
really
there.
Oh, boy.
talk about what's going on. And
Yeah, kind
Definitely.
of sink our
who's
teeth
playing
into
well.
it.
Yeah,
And
for
talk a
sure.
little more about the old team of yours, the state championships, because it is the 30th anniversary.
30
so
years,
once we
yeah, wow.
have something ironed out to celebrate that, we'll have you back and
Sounds
talk
good.
a little more.
Sounds good. I love coming here and talking and seeing all you guys all the time.
Well, it's a
So,
pleasure.
We appreciate it. Now, coming up, we have the top 20 athletes to look out for the whole year.
Right.
That's going to be presented by Matt's Cycle Center, which has a location in Coxsackie, so that's something to definitely look out for
Looking forward
end
to
of
that.
this month. So thank you for watching the Press Box. We'll see you next week.